Hey again. I just wanted to make one more longer video to kind of cover a few things that I noticed that I did not go over in the last one. So, the first two things I'm going to go over are things that I did without kind of narrating what I was doing. So, kind of just habit, too used to doing it my own, so still getting used to, tutorials and stuff. So, I'm going to go over those two things now. Number one, um, when I was showing different things, I would, demonstrate like resetting height and width, and then I would undo that. Now, to undo something, it's quite simple. It is Control and Z. It's like that in a lot of programs. Photoshop, if you use that, it's like that. So you might have already assumed that if you had already used, another program that used that. But just in case you didn't, I figured I'd put it there. The second thing isn't so much something that I did and forgot to narrate, but more something I just forgot to show in general. When I was going on about all the ways you can move through the viewport, I forgot to go over one of the more one of the best ways to move through the viewport, actually, and that is this little cube in the top right corner. Basically, what this lets you do is it's got a whole bunch of options. It's a little hard to see. It's got a whole bunch of options, like you can touch the corner, and it'll give you a three-quarter view. You can touch the top side. You can hit the top, side, and so on and so forth. Not only does it let you, give you a little more control on where your viewport's placed, but it also gives an indication of the way you're oriented. So if you're flipped upside down by accident, like for example, let's say I've modeled something and I import it in Engine, but when I import it into a game engine, it's flipped upside down. Might want to come in here and check if you have it if you accidentally modeled it upside down. So yeah, it's kind of an indicator of where you are in the space, the world space, if you will. Now, the other thing I wanted to cover before I move on to my, much shorter few minute videos on a specific tool, I figured I'd show how to get to an editable mesh. So, I'm going to create a box just like I did in the last video, center it, go to the modifier stack, make it a perfect cube, and there. So this is exactly what we had last time, but now what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click it, press convert to editable poly. Now there's editable mesh, editable patch, and NURB, or NURBS. The only one you really have to worry about here is poly, because patch and mesh are just older versions that they never removed. So yeah, just create editable poly. You'll notice the box has now changed from box to editable poly, and you can no longer control the dimensions. Now you have these 5 buttons. The first one on the far left is vertex, which will highlight all the vertices of the mesh with these little faint blue dots, which now you can click on and move independently. Edge, which allows you to select the edges that are always normally visible, move them around. I'm going to skip over border. I'll show you what that does in a moment. Polygon, which is just face select. I find myself in this one quite common because a lot of the tools are specifically for face editing. So I find myself in polygon a lot. And then element select, which will just select the whole connected mesh. Now, border. If you notice here, I can't select anything using it. And that is because it has to be an open edge. So if I delete this face, what border lets me do is select that all the edges, all 4 edges in that loop there, instead of having to go to edge select and selecting each of them individually. So yeah, that's all I really wanted to go over for this one. Just kind of wanted to get you to this point, go over those few things I missed, and then starting in the next video, I'll start just kind of going off important tools in here. I'll also go over tools elsewhere, but I'm probably going to start with the edible poly so you can actually start modeling different shapes. So once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.